Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to an episode of PATTAY'S Performance. Today in the driveway, well, we're going to be in and out of the garage because of the weather. A lot of rain, which is good, I guess. The grass, a little too much though. Husqvarna. I'm going to show you guys how to supercharge this machine / modify the impeller, which means you will throw snow farther than stock and not get easily clogged up with the heavy, wet, slushy snow, especially that's left by the plows at the end of the driveway. Tools for this are going to be pretty simple and universal for most machines. Right? Measuring tape. We have our heavy-duty truck mud flap. 7/16 for the bolts here. 3/8 there. Some sheet metal screws. Some washers. Now we'll go through the tools as we go along. Now this machine is fairly simple to do because it has this side chute over here. And remember what you guys was telling you guys before. Look, everything is like, not stripped, but when they put this thing together, Lord have mercy. You just see how some of that stuff is starting to round off. So anyway, this should be 7/16, or maybe a ½ inch. Oh, I'm a liar. It's a ½ inch. Alright, so this is definitely going to be, 13 millimeter or a ½ inch. Milwaukee M12 ratchet. Speed things up. Now these are carriage bolts on the inside. So what you need to do is apply pressure on the inside, find the fitting, and undo it. See how it comes right off, and I'll show you what I mean by a carriage bolt, and don't lose that. This is a carriage bolt. You see inside the shoulders, and then we'll see how that comes into play once I remove this whole housing. Set that off aside so you don't lose it. Same thing on the other one, gotta go inside and grab it. If you have to move the impeller, just push down. Right. Now, the reason why I'm doing this today is because, believe it or not, I have this thing potentially sold already. I have somebody coming from out of state. Move this impeller so I can get that carriage bolt down. Carriage bolt out. So let me give you a shot of the impeller. What it should look like as you do this so you can pull the carriage bolt out. So we have that straight slot open. You have enough room to pull the carriage bolts out. Now, we actually have to remove the belt cover, which isn't a bad thing because it actually gives us the opportunity to inspect the belt. Now, just based on the condition of this machine, there'll be no issues with the belts. Right there for the belt cover, this is 3/8. So 2 of those bolts, zip them out. We'll expose the belt cover. Put that aside. I'll take you over to the other side. As you see here, that's for the shroud. And this is for the belts, and that's why there's usually 4. We only have 3 exposed. Belt cover. Come on. Here we get to see the nitty-gritty inside this thing. Should be interesting. Okay, let's pull that out. And access to the key. This goes forward. And here we go right here. Oh, shiza. See that? This is why. That's interesting. See how this belt? Situation averted. Here's our drive belt, and here's our auger belt. Can I see that? And drive belt, auger belt to throw snow, drive to move, and these are both your tension pulleys. So let's just check tension. Alrighty. And then you guys can see I exposed the 2 bolts here. So let's remove those 2. And remember, you have the support from underneath. Okay, push those through. Something's in the way. Like the auger, you just gotta push the auger around. You see this came off too. Alright, now we can expose the impeller. Alright, just hold that out. And it's okay for this to flap around. And we'll set that to the side. Now we have our impeller exposed. We have 1. You have 3 impellers to modify. So what I like to do is I like to put 2 sheet metal screws per impeller. Some people do 1. Some people do nuts and bolts. In my experience, which I strongly suggest you guys take, the sheet metal screws. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our measuring tape. And we're going to measure the impeller. Just the flat side. 3 inches. Alright? We're going to go over to our mud flap. And we're going to measure out 3-inch impeller. Get you guys. Once I cut the impeller, I'll explain why this works. And how. So let's do, we'll do a 3x3 just for so we need a good set of 10 sticks. So it's 3 by 3. I have good ones. I don't know what the hell I did with them. They're made by Swiss. And these are craftsmen. Why aren't these cut? Alright, so now I got my good snips. Let's just cut a 3x3 section. And then we'll trim it once we fit it to the impeller. Guys out here. So here's your impeller, 3x3, and we want to hang it over the lip, as you guys can see. And that's a really nice, perfect, so we can cut 3 more pieces just like this. So let me explain to you why this will work. So here's your impeller, right? We're going to cut it longer than it was supposed to be, but the whole concept of why we want to use rubber, it's almost like a blender that my wife has. I think it was like a Ninja where I kind of figured this out. So what happens is your snow gets stuck on the open slot right here, and it builds up. The modified impeller, right, as it's dragging along inside the auger, right, it's bending. See that? Because it's moving around. See that? It's bending. Scraping all the snow off the side. Then once it gets to the opening, watch the impeller. Fling. See how it flings? Fling. Fling. And it flings snow farther than stock. So, let's line that up with a little bit of a gap. We want it overlapping, just like that. And we're going to go screw it down. Alright, so 2 sheet metal screws, 2 washers. This is your standard sheet metal screw, 5/16 head. And let's just see what the length is on this, so you guys have an idea. This is a little bit over 1 inch. Alright, see how it's magnetic tip it sits on there? So now we're just going to hold. It's going to be hard to get a good angle, but we're just going to have to hold the impeller with one hand, and then we're going to try and drill into the other. Get this cable out of the way. Did we leave a mark? Yes, we did. Now that we left the mark, we don't need the impeller anymore. We can just go right into the impeller. Alright, we're good to go. And then this will line up with our next hole. Do not pull these out, because you don't want to mess up the threads. Come on. Come on. Okay, now we're going to take our washer, stick it in. Here's the impeller. Just going to drill that through now. Now our impeller is locked into place. See that? Stick it in the hole, like so. Stick it around so it's nice and even. Now we can still move it. Now we're going to get our second sheet metal screw. Stick it in there. Nice distance from the other one. Okay. See, yep, we're going through. So let's rock with it. Let's not pull the impeller out. Let's just go all the way through it. And you guys can see I'm supporting the impeller with my other hand. I just broke through. So now, we'll really send it home, because now we'll put the washer back on. Nice and tight. I'm going to take you guys off camera. See that? is what it should look like. And then now as it spins, it's going to perfectly adhere to the auger housing. Going to get some penetrating lube. We are going to lube this up. Going to lube up the inside as well. Less friction. And then we're going to give this thing a whirl. Now I'm going to let you guys see this thing here in action. It's as close as you guys can get. This is what my tripod will allow. Hopefully it doesn't take out my camera. Oh, I never tried the electric start on this thing. Let me try the electric start. Make sure it works. Alright, so, see it flopped around a little bit. Now why am I not breaking this in all the way? Is because the cover's still not here, but I at least wanted to take a nice chunk of it off. Now as you guys can see, there's still a little bit left, but this is perfect. This is a nice 208cc engine. If this is a healthy engine, it'll rip all three impellers, no problem. Alright, so since we verified that the first flap was good, we can do the other two. I pre-cut them. Now, because the next two impellers are the same exact steps, I'm going to put you guys on time-lapse. But also, in the comments, right, I'm going to post a couple of videos. I'm going to put a link to a couple of videos on machines that I've modified the impeller on, and you can see how they just do not, they refuse to clog up. And I have one video where it threw the heavy, wet, slushy snow about 31 feet. Alright, so I'm going to put you guys on time-lapse, and I'll see you guys when I'm done. Alright, so that's it. We finally have the last impeller done. I'm not going to pre-break that in. Like I said, it's a 208cc engine, so this is a nice healthy machine. This thing should run flawlessly without a hiccup. So we're going to put our cover back on. Remember, we got to put our carriage bolts back in. Okay? And remember, when we do the carriage bolts, we have to support from the inside. Do the top first. Remember, this goes inside this way because remember it has to fit the shape of this. So let's do that. I'll take you guys over here. So anyway, this has to fit this way. See how it closes up there? It has to go on the inside. So let's line this up. Basically the same way you took this thing apart. It's the same way. It goes back together. Remember, we start these by hand. Never want to run these down with the gun right off the bat, because you run the risk of stripping stuff. And then you're taking something fairly simple and inexpensive, something that's more time consuming, and you're just going to have to run to the hardware store and get new bolts. So these are special bolts for a reason. I'm just rotating the impeller until I have enough clearance to put this on. Alright, see that? Then we're going to come back over. And we're going to do the last two from the inside, the closest facing to us. And then we're going to give this thing a rest. So I'm not sure what view. You know what? I'll give you a view of looking down the chute housing. Hope it doesn't take out my camera. It is what it is. So now what's going to happen is it's going to perfectly adhere to the inside of the machine, the organ housing. And you're going to hear a loud clapping sound. And the impeller's just going to heat up and wear itself. True perfection. And that's what you want. You want no gap. Now, do these wear out over time? Yes. But I do snow removal too as an extra income, and I'm running the same pattern for 2-3 years. And believe me, I have done my fair share of snow removal. Well over probably a week's worth on each machine with zero problems. Alright, so now we got that in there. Remember, support the bolt from the inside. 3/8. 13 millimeters. And just tighten it down. I'm not going to do the take it to the other side, because that's boring. We'll just do that real quick. Alright, the moment of truth. I'm going to put you guys down the belly of the beast. Let's see. Can we get a good angle? Or you know what? I'll stick you guys on the ground. You guys can see this on the ground. Hold on. Alright, so now we have the impeller done. Now we're really going to coat the inside. Some penetrating oil. Remember, more lubricant, less friction. Good thing. Alright, you're going to see the impellers at work. Now, when you modify the impeller, it's going to get really, really loud and really, really quiet, and you're going to see rubber chunks fly out. So make sure you point the chute someplace else. Alright, so we're going to walk away from the machine so you guys can hear me talk. So obviously you heard it got really, really loud and really, really quiet. Now, when you put your hand over the impeller, you could actually feel the wind being pushed out because there's no more gap. Let me show this again with the leaf. See that? See how the leaf was blown out? That's going to be your snow too. So you see this brush? Now this is just an accessory. You won't need it ever again. So now that since we modified the impeller, part of your pre-storm prep and trip is obviously start the machine, put it through the paces. When you're about to blow snow, cover the inside with anything of lubricant, PAM, penetrating oil, you name it, please cover it. Because then remember, oil and water don't mix, and that'll also increase the probability of snow sticking to your machine. In the comment section, I'm going to post a video of an Arian Snow Tek 2824, very compatible to this, that I did some snow removal with, and you could just see how it was just a force to be reckoned with. Never slowed down, never clogged up. Now, in case you do come up against heavy snow, where just overwhelming the machine, it will happen, especially with an engine like this, depending where you're located. What you want to do is either go into a slower gear or split the snow. Don't go head on, split it in quarters or split, and then just work your way until you find that perfect flow. Alright, so like I said in the description, I will put comments of the Snow Tek 24 kicking ass. I will put some video of my Arians kicking ass, and I will put some video also of the couple of Hemi swaps that I've done where they're throwing heavy, wet, slushy snow over 31 feet. Alright guys, if you guys found this video helpful, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of PATTAY'S Performance, in which I will show you how to get this thing ready for the winter and a couple of tips on storing it after the season. Alright, later.